As one Athens libertarian told me, even with all the disgust towards Trump and Clinton, campaigning for a third party still seems like trying to build a house of cards in the wind.
They say that there is a path for their candidate, Donald Trump, to victory tonight, but they acknowledge that it does seem to be narrow. They're much more optimistic about down-ballot races. For example, Senator Johnny Isakson. They're hoping he's able to avoid a runoff with the Democratic challenger, Jim Barksdale.
Both Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump will most likely remain in the delegate count where they are in the headlines, in front.
But this is what the listener never sees. The hours that Tim spends in this office writing scripts and cutting sound bites makes what's heard over the air possible.
Let's go back live to reporter Matthew Metaxas at the Tate Student Center, where people are gathering to honor the 4 students who passed away. Matt?
So I'm proposing that we go ahead and vote yes.
For Melissa Link, politics is a passion. That's true whether she's serving on the Athens-Clarke County Commission or supporting presidential candidates.
I was a Bernie Sanders all the way.
But since Sanders didn't make it all the way, Link has a choice to make. She considers herself a progressive and considers Hillary Clinton not progressive enough. Her other option? Link has supported the Green Party for years and even introduced the party's presidential candidate Jill Stein when she spoke at UGA back in June. Stein didn't qualify to be on the ballot in Georgia, so her supporters will have to write her in. But with the race in Georgia tightening, Link may forego her protest vote and cast her ballot for Clinton.
I might have to do it. I'm not going to like it.
Even some committed third-party supporters see their chances as slim. Greg Morin is part of the 6.5% of Georgia voters who plan to vote for Gary Johnson, and he was a leader in the Athens area Libertarian Party. But even with the Libertarian ticket doing better than in years past,
we actually disbanded a few months ago.
Why?
A lot of us, the people that have been in it for a while, became disillusioned.
History suggests that this disillusion may be well-founded. But some third-party advocates see this year as an opportunity to at least get their message out. And they're finding creative ways to do it. Like this viral ad from Alternative PAC, where Dead Abe Lincoln gives a less than positive review of the 2016 race. It's made quite a splash with over 29 million views on Facebook. I showed the ad to political science professor Dr. Charles Bullock. He said that it's funny and clever, but
will it change many voters? Probably not.
Bullock says that the American political system just does not lend itself to third-party success.
They're kind of doomed to failure. Yeah. They have a good idea that one or both the big parties take it away from them. And if they're crackpots, then they don't get any traction anyway.
.5 FM is WUOG Athens.
You might say that talking politics is Haidt Hubbock's specialty.
I can't not talk politics, it's my major.
And for the past year, it's also been his job. Haidt just finished a term as news director at UGA's student radio station. But while he relished the opportunity to discuss election results on air, his family was different.
We didn't talk for a week after the election. Every time they would try to call me, I was just like, I would say I'm either busy with homework, I'm busy in class, I'm busy at the radio station, but I wasn't.
His parents' decision to vote for Trump was a bitter pill to swallow, and he almost didn't go home for Thanksgiving. Haidt is gay and sees Trump and Pence as dangerous for LGBT rights.
Them voting for him has gone against my identity.
There was also some tension when Malik Grace went home for Thanksgiving, where the excitement he felt regarding the election was unwelcome. Most of his family are Democrats, and until the end of high school, so was Malik. But then he became a Republican.
We've been represented for far too long, the minority people, by the Democratic Party.
And in this election, he supported Donald Trump.
Nobody wanted to talk about that this Thanksgiving, so I brought it up, and I kind of was shunned.
His hopes for Christmas?
Well, I hope they hear my side of the story and not just rub me off like I'm a nobody or like my party or my opinions don't matter to them.
Haidt will also be home for Christmas, but has decided to pick up some extra shifts at work while he's there.
I feel like it's best for all of us.
This election has caused disagreements even in families that usually have similar views. Brennan Mansell is the chairman of the Georgia Association of College Republicans. But this election, he decided he couldn't get on board with his party's nominee.
Donald Trump violated so many of the conservative principles I've held dear for my entire time in politics.
He announced his decision not to support Trump on Facebook back in early October. Many people commented supporting his decision, but not his mother. What other choice do we have, she asked.
We discussed it in that one little thread, and I had basically challenged her. I would rather stand morally apart from supporting who I believe to be an immoral candidate versus immoral complicity in accepting that.
At Thanksgiving, the Mansells mostly steered clear of politics, instead discussing family and religion. And Brennan hopes that by Christmas, any political discussions will be focused on Trump's cabinet appointments rather than the man himself.
It's a lot harder to tear yourself apart over who you think the Secretary of State nominee should be.
To Justin Lavner, these stories are all too familiar. He's an assistant professor in UGA's Department of Psychology. His research focuses on couple and family relationships, where he says politics can be a major stumbling block.
Oftentimes people don't know how to talk about it or don't know how to talk about it very well.
Lavner says it's unlikely that you'll be able to change a family member's mind, at least at first. Instead,
the goal doesn't maybe have to be anything other than just to start the conversation and to start kind of learning more about where the other person is coming from.
For many families, that's easier said than done. For now, these students will continue to tread lightly if politics come up over the holidays. James Thompson, Grady News Source. In the next few minutes, Mitchell Holland will answer over 40 phone calls.
Next one then. Bigger vision.
With each call comes security for just one night for an Athens local.
You're in, Thomas.
At 4 o'clock each afternoon, the first 36 people to speak with him are given a bed for the night at Bigger Vision Community Shelter. In just 7 minutes, all the beds are reserved.
Tony, I'm sorry, we filled up.
Mitchell now looks
Bigger
at the
Vision.
phone with less enthusiasm. He faces the tough job of turning down one friend after another.
When you hit to number 36, that next call that you have to tell somebody, I'm sorry, we're full. You know, it affects you.
From last October to April, 312 different people stayed in one of these beds here at Bigger Vision. For those that don't get a spot, there are other options, such as the Salvation Army shelter on Hawthorne Avenue.
So we have 24 beds here.
Adrian Bumpers says that even though their shelter isn't full every night, they have had to turn people away during extreme cold.
We do have to practice saying no, and that's hard every time.
Anthony Williams received a yes this week and is staying at the Salvation Army. But he's no stranger to the word no.
I had one in the dumpsters and cover up and stay warm to the next day with cardboard boxes.
As the winter weather approaches, shelters face the task of working with what they have.
There have been stints where we do not have any beds available for 2 weeks.
Local shelters will likely have to turn someone like Anthony away every day for the next few months. James Thompson, Grady News Source.